So this panel discussion is the formal panel discussion opening, and we are opening with this preschool leaders and how future forward technology can help transform the country education sector remains the theme of the event. Panel one on preschools will be discussing on the striking a balance between technology and well-being in a time of school distancing. Eminent panel speakers in this session is Mr. Tijay Gupta. He's the co-founder and CEO of BACHPAN AHPS group of schools. Welcome, Tijay sir. Very happy and glad to see you over here. Ms. Manjit Legha ji, she is the Director Academics Learning and Training, Little Millennium. Happy to see you again, Manjit ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Kopal Maheshwari, founder of Little Einsteins International Schools and Einstein Square. Happy to see you, Kopal ji, again. And Ms. Sonal Ahuja, founder of House of Learning, Director, Shri Foundation School. Happy to see you, Sonal ma'am. The session has been moderated by Jitendra Karsan ji. He's the CEO of Kïdo Group, and he'll be moderating the session. So without wasting much time, over to you, Jitendra sir. And happy to see you again. And very glad seeing that your moderation in the last panel session was awesome, and you'll be doing the right justice to this panel as well. Over to you.
Thank you, Chandan, for your kind words, and thank you for inviting me once again. And it is great to see Miss Manjit on the panel again, and as well as Miss Sonal. I think Mr. Tijay and Miss Kopal, I think this is the first time we're doing a webinar together. So I hope we'll be able to ask you the right questions and get the right information for you, so that our viewers can understand, what is the state of preschool industry. So our topic for today was striking a balance between technology and well-being in the time of social distancing. Basically, I wanted to explore this topic from just 2-3 angles. One is currently, as we all know, that this is the worst period for preschool industry. And during this period, it's clear that this is the only part of the learning process or the learning journey that parents feel it's dispensable. And for K-12 schools, still parents have enrolled, and parents are continuing with the learning journey. But for preschools, I think from the informal and anecdotal information that I have got, there is an enrollment of only between 30 to 50% from what it was last year. And I also feel this was completely because I think a lot of governments, state governments especially, not the central government, but I think a lot of state governments came out with a lot of rulings against screen time and how screen time is bad, and the media lapped it up, and suddenly all the parents were up in arms against the preschool. I thought this was the only section of learning which didn't get the fair due, and hence I think most of you all will agree with me that it's not a good place to be a preschool owner, or or in management of preschools at this time. However, as I said, there's a lot of information about how online or screen time might be damaging the children, or it's not good. We've also, as a group, we've gone ahead and we downloaded a lot of research. There's no clear-cut long-term research which says that blanket screen time is bad, right? I think all of us will agree that some sort of screen time may be useful, and there's no other option, by the way. But there's no long-term sort of study about how this is detrimental for, say, a 2-year-old to a 6-year-old. However, there's enough and more information that junk food is bad, right? And we still have, like, every smallest village has, I don't want to name any brands, but, all junk food chains are there everywhere in the smallest possible villages and towns. And we don't see any blanket ban. We don't see any parents up in the arms saying that, what are you doing to our children? But why is that preschool industry has got such a unfair treatment during this time? I just want to know, we have our own, I have my own analysis with my team, but I just want to know from your point of view, and I think it'd be great for, people logging in and watching this, is that what is the thing which has made parents so insecure or so fearful about preschool and especially online preschool. So, Ms. Manjit, if you can start.
Sure. Thank you, Jitendra. Pleasure being with you and my co-panelists again. So nice to see you again, Sonal, and good to have Kopal and Tijay as well over there. So I would, totally agree with you, Jitendra, that it's been a tough year for everyone, no doubt about it, but especially for the pre-K segment or the preschool segment. It goes without saying. And to answer your question, why is there been so much of a stereotyped or a preconceived kind of a blanket ban on early childhood and screen time? I think one of the major factors is the ignorance, as they say, parents, individual organizations, a lot of haphazard research put together, a lot of people speaking up on how much is good, how much is bad, but there has been no authenticated view on this so far, right? Just as we were caught unaware by the COVID, so were the parents, educators, teachers got totally unaware by virtual for the preschool sector, right? While we are not negating that the physical school is the best option, but then what to do? Do we let it be a total loss here for our children, right? Or do we move ahead and embrace the fact, as our honorable minister was saying, and Mr. Gopalakrishnan before us, he said it so beautifully, that the future forward world is a world driven by technology. Roti, kapda, makan, or internet. The fourth need has been totally thrown onto us. Today, our children are born in a world which is, dominated by Alexa, play that music for me. Shri, dial my child's teacher's number. So when the children hear that, right, and they're just born in that environment, and you say that it is not good for them, well, we need to model the behavior that we want our children to emulate, right? So I feel it is the ignorance, it is lack of really solid facts which tell us what is, how much of screen is good, bad. I think more than worrying about the time, it is the quality, it is the content which parents are also not aware of. So for most parents, for most educators, for most adults, screen is associated with entertainment. We did not enter into a world, we were not trained into giving learning, through the screen. None of our B.Ed or NTT or ECCE courses trained our teachers or us on learning through the virtual media. So everybody was taken back. But I'm someone who will like to focus on the silver lining in the cloud. I would say that the dust is now settling down. Parents are much, much more aware. Teachers are much, much more trained. Educators and preschool owners are also much, much more settled down on how much of screen time, what is good screen time, what is quality screen time, and how to get across to our children. So I think we are on a less turbulent road right now. So I hope that answers your question.
No, I completely agree with you that things are getting better, and parents, more and more parents are now understanding that there's no way out. We don't have an option, right? So I would like to extend the same question to Ms. Kopal, that what has your experience been with parents? Did you have the same sort of journey? Was the journey different? How did you handle it?
Well, I can for sure tell you that, I have seen our centers in different nations. And like Miss Manjit also mentioned, learning related technology outside the school is actually a civil right alongside food, shelter, and education in most of the nations, especially in Europe. Specifically, where I am based off, Estonia, which is considered as world's highest performers in education, as well as we've seen in Britain that all the curriculum materials were already online before even the COVID scenario occurred. So it's not a far-fetched idea, and I feel that yes, India is almost getting there. The experience for us wasn't that hugely affected because we did see a lot of enrollments even during the COVID time in our preschools. But we saw a hike in the EU centers, the European centers, and at at least like a 50% hike in our American centers. And that's also because technology there is readily available. I feel the major challenge in India was, certain facts, like there was not clear, not availability of devices. For example, one major challenge that we felt was happening since parents were also working from home, and also the students were asked to access it. So there was a challenge there. Then we also have to understand the digital capabilities and skill sets. You cannot expect, like, I feel preschoolers need a lot more support as compared to older children that we've seen in our schools. So we could not expect them to do everything by themselves, and to understand that parents have to be with them for that little on-screen presence time is also important. Balancing the on-screen time with off-screen time actually worked wonders for us. And timely communication. So that was like clear accessibility and timely communication to the tools, and the educational platform that we were providing was something that actually worked better for us compared to what I would say otherwise would have gone down the drain. So I feel, if you talk about countries like South Korea, which has access to internet and digital devices to like 100%, or even a country like Uruguay, where every family has access to digital technology learning. And so it is important that, that is something that we need to work together as preschools to ensure that we are giving to our students that technology to access learning, and then form guided platforms or learning tools to ensure the balance is maintained between offline and on-screen activities. And I mean, that's why it did not go that bad for us, honestly.
Ms. Kopal, you seem to be the only school which is not agreeing. I would like to ask Ms. Tijay about his experience during this time, and did he see any sort of turbulence and the numbers going down?
Yeah. Hi, Chandan, Rahulji, Ashish. It's tremendous how you are maintaining this energy for 3 months. We as preschools are tired taking online classes, and parents are not listening to us. Everybody's saying the same thing, but you are conducting your webinars day after day. So hats off to your team first, and thank you for inviting me. Uh, Yesterday, when I was listening to Mr. Anupam Kher interview, and he said what COVID has told us, or what COVID has taught me personally, that you only need three things in life. First is laptop, another is daily commodities, and third is a Wi-Fi. So if you have all these three things, you can stay at home. So I think pretty much with the challenge with the parent when we started the classes, or when came up with idea of getting the classes done, why, how, and when. First question was why you are taking an online class. My child is 1.5 year old or 2 year old. He won't sit at screen for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. How you are managing that? Why you are taking a class? So the answer was very easy. Yes, we want to convert. It would be going for a longer duration. It would be 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. At least the child will be learning something. Second challenge was how you will be doing it. It's a question for us actually, because our teachers or we as a company were not that equipped or trained to get into the system or into the ecosystem. I'm talking about typically about a preschool kid, not about a formal school kid. So yes, we made a system, me or Mr. Jitendra or everybody made a system and ecosystem to get into that. Third question was when you will be conducting the classes. So it seems a little easy. No, we can take the class at any particular time. It may be 10 in the morning, it may be 11 in the morning, but the parents always keep on asking, I don't have any multiple device, or we don't have time with the kid. Why? Because we have our office job, we have our gadgets busy, all those things. So in our case, we made the time flexibility, and our teachers are taking classes in evening also, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock also. We have taken the classes. I think it's more with the mentality of parents that they accept the fact that a child can't be taught online. Maybe in a school, we try to convince a parent to give 30 minutes or 40 minutes to a smart class. But here they are thought of that a child is sitting idle at screen and he or she may not be able to learn anything. So I think it's more with the mindset of the parent, which is definitely being improved now because 8 9 months has been, and now parents are asking, so what's your next model? Once the school are open, are you going to conduct classes on Zoom or on the app? We are saying yes, but once in a week or twice in a week, the hybrid classes are going to go. So I think I made it simple and everybody is already explained about it. And that's my take.
That's really good that you're already thinking of Zoom classes even in the future. Uh, Ms. Sonal, how about you? What did your preschool? What were your parents talking about? Were they in agreement with the new model going online?
Jitendra, like we actually had the discussion the last panel also, if you remember that we never struggled with the strength of the parents coming in. You're right, around 40 or 50%, and we are okay with it. I already told that we are not even asking our preschoolers ages to above. We do not entertain in our school 18 months old or 1+. Two and above, we are not forcing them to come online on screen. So there are no such classes happening for them. What we are doing is we have designed a particular kind of a curriculum for them, and we call it integrated learning at home. So we've trained our uh,
Ms.
am
Sonal?
I audible now?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did is we kind of made a special module called ILH at home, integrated learning at home, and we delivered it to the parents with good training for the preschoolers, 2.5-year-olds. For the kindergarten and nurseries, we have our online classes going on, and that's hardly once or twice a week for 30 minutes. That's all. Supported by a lot of other material, like we're using technology in a very meaningful way. We also told the parents that technology shouldn't get confused with the screen time. Right, we keep on talking about screen time, screen time. So for us in our school, it's not the screen time, it's the technology. And now since the pandemic is there and we are all forced to kind of follow that, we are experiencing, exploring new ways we can use technology and take it to each and every house and help parents accelerate and children to accelerate their learning. So we've been successful this way. We have developed videos, we have developed movies, we have developed presentations for the parents with the voiceovers, we have developed audios and storytelling. So we've done all that and delivered to the parents. So it's going on really good right now. And also amidst that, it's going high board where I'm feeling I've met one or two persons in person, my parents team, and they're really wanting the children to get back to school. So now is the time, like I really resonate with what Manjit said, that parents are wanting now, it's high time, everything is settled, even their mind is settled now. So they're wanting some with good security measures and right arrangements in the early settings. They're okay to send their children. So slowly and gradually, even I feel that even if we start say once in a week or twice in a week, get back to our settings, and things will fall in place till the time we get into April or July in the 2021.
No, I completely agree that by June 2021, probably things will start looking much better. And I do remember, Ms. Sonal, you explaining last time about how you have changed the curriculum, and in a new way you've been sending it across to the students. Uh, what I wanted to understand, for the benefit of everybody who's listening, were parents pretty receptive to this, or did you face any sort of mindset block from the parents that this is not how we've learned and this is not what you told us, and we don't want to
I
fight
think,
with it.
yeah, I think, Jitendra, it's not the mindset block of the parents. It's basically as the school owners and educators. We have a particular set standard of mind, and we feel in a way that if we do this, probably the parents are not going to accept that way. So I have felt in my experience, it was never a mindset block from the parent side. You as a capable educator, and you know from where you are coming, from where you are developing all this, and you kind of appraise them of all these reasons behind and the researches you share with the parents, and you convince them on what you are doing is absolutely going to be fantastic for your child in terms of the child's development, be it social development or language development, or in that case, psychologically, even if a child is at home and learning. So I felt that our whole focus, we pivoted on how do we educate our parents, not that go along with their mindset. Another thing, Jitendra, in our team, we have made it a value. That's one of the values of our school, that we set our outcomes first. So me and my team would set the outcome. Okay, this is the outcome I'm looking forward to. I want the parents to behave in a particular way. It's not that I'm thinking they will behave like this. So when we set those standards and outcomes, the team is then working towards it to achieve it. And we kind of followed this strategy to let our parents be on the same page with us. Yeah.
That's really good. Your experience and what you're sharing is that it's a great success story. Uh, with our group, since we run schools across multiple countries, we saw that even in a particular state, say in Texas, right, we have a school in Houston and we have a school in Austin, and the mindset was completely different, right? At one location, and same similarly with India, right? In certain places, parents were absolutely okay with the new curriculum that we are coming up with, the new the new model, and so as you rightly said, right, the learning outcomes are probably the same. It's just the method which is going to change because of limitations of sending the children to a physical school. But we saw that it was completely different, and that is what I wanted to basically understand from all the panels, is that did they feel the same? So yeah, we can, even in the panel we can see there's a wide range of differences
Yeah.
between what everybody said, right?
That'll always be there, Jitin, because we're dealing with humans. No, that'll always be there. So if you say you in a branch you have say 150 students, and that means 150 families, so you would always see that there would be a percentage of people who go and they're on the same page with you, and there is another percentage who are just confused, or probably they want some guidance, and then there would be a third category who really do not believe in what you're saying. So this is going to be like this everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
out of a set of people. So the focus has to be more on how many people can come on the same page, and you accelerate and you row your boat.
Correct.
And then the few things you cannot change. But yes, after this, what happened was the people who joined hands, they were the third category who was not willing to. We could see 2 or 4% people coming from there and joining. So this is how you have to be on your journey, all in
So
all.
which brings me to the second question, right? And thanks for leading us there. With this new method, I wouldn't say the new model, but the new method of delivering the curriculum, uh, you know, and measuring, the outcome of what is the child's journey, what are they learning, assessing whether they're reaching certain milestones. Uh, is it been easy to map that? And I'll open it up again with Ms. Manjit. Whether it was the easy journey, because with social distancing, either sending materials at home or going on a Zoom class, or whichever other way and models that all of us adopted, was it very easy to track that child's learning trajectory, whether it has gone in a space that a school wanted, or are we as preschools ourselves not 100% happy with what's happening right now, especially
So,
with the new model and mapping it to the learning outcomes.
yeah. So when we, switched on to the virtual mode, right, Jitendra and my fellow panelists, no, it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy because, see, firstly, we had to align the entire team. Firstly, we had to do internal marketing, right? Get the whole team together and tell them that this is kind of like the new normal, right? We had choices between us. Either we just sit down and do nothing about it, or we take on the route which is less traveled by. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by. So we had to take that route which was never traveled before, right? So once we are on that route, it is but obvious that we would need to reskill and upskill our people. Our people meaning our teachers, our school heads, our management, our parents, right? And wherein we spent around, a lot of 100% of our time reskilling and upskilling our own force, how to go about it. We had to devote and take out a particular percentage of our time in upskilling our parents as well. A simple example, like a parent, initially would say कि ये बैठते नहीं है, right? इधर चल भाग जाते हैं. So we would use a very regular example that when the child is in class, you think, attention means just looking at the teacher face to face. No, that's not it. They have their own ways of listening to the teacher. They have their own ways of communicating. Language is not the only way by which children communicate. But parents had no idea about this, because for them it was bye-bye time and come and pick up and then ask the regular question that how was school? And if we are lucky and our parents, are really with us, then they say, okay, what was good about school? Then it's a win-win situation for us. Then they tell, ye kiya, wo kiya, and all that. Now, here was the parent sitting next to the child and seeing that the child is not looking at the screen dedicatedly. So for them, it was like, it's all gone down. Hoga hi nahi hai. Ye to ho hi nahi sakta. And then the second part was very obviously, we said, let's not bother about assessments at this point of stage, right? As in very, very cut and dried formative assessments, what we do in the physical classroom, right? Let's focus on getting children attuned to the new medium. First, let them get used to it. Let the teachers get used to it. As we all know, the teachers also went through an entire journey, how to set up the light, focus, correct, kind of videos and correct kind of, links, what to use, etc., etc. So then thereafter, after a good, every child has been through around 5 months to 6 months of good online teaching. Then let's come down to mapping the outcomes. And there also, I agree with you, it's very difficult to map outcomes like, let's say, gross motor, right? Yeah, so let's talk real. We said, let's talk real. Let's talk about what can be done. Like, yes, language skills. Yes, we can. In fact, the virtual medium has given us more scope, because now we are reading more to our children. We're making them listen more to us. It is in our hands. We are giving them the kind of stories that we want them to listen, the kind of rhymes that we want them to do. So in certain skills, it was doable. It was quite nice, a pleasure. In certain, it wasn't. And we said, let's not worry about the have nots, let's worry about the haves. And accordingly, we trained our parents as well. So touchwood, as far as assessments and the so-called report cards and assessment sheets are concerned, well, there's not been a storm in the cup so far.
And I think parents who enrolled, they understand, right, that there's only so much that schools can do. And I think that was really honest, Ms. Manjit, that, you really laid it out that some things are just not possible, right? Especially, how do you gauge the, social development or emotional development, through sending activities or doing Zoom classes? It's difficult. So, Ms. Kopal, what's been your experience in this regard?
See, I feel technology does enhance great teaching by using rich resources and methods of generating like highly interactive student engagement. But for us, the biggest challenge was that it does not make teachers more caring or empathetic or understanding. And that is why it was very important for us to, choose and train the teachers who are capable of using technology to enhance the student experience. So we spend hours of training our teachers on soft skills, and not just soft skills but digital skills as well before we took them live. In fact, I can say that it was so stringent a process that only 1 out of 5 teachers could make it through that entire training session. But we then realized the impact it had on our students. Like, they were uh, really performing well. They had enhanced creativity and expression, and that actually kind of helped us understand that yes, we can now customize a lot of technology that is available easily for the preschool segment. So we focused a lot on flexibility in learning, in giving the students those choices of activities and learning outcomes. And I think that is something that worked really for us. So even if a student missed the class, it was really amazing to see them review the recording at their own comfort. So these flexibilities are something that they really look forward to. The parents were, in fact, it was like, I feel it was high time where it was like a welcome distraction for the parents, because the students could then communicate with their peers and friends, and the classroom side talks, especially with the younger kids, they would just enjoy it during these sessions. So I feel like it had been quite positive in the sense, but yes, we had to implement a lot of things in technology, ensure that we are keeping the digital strategy in place to avoid any potential risks of things like digital distraction, and consist of balancing the digital use with screen free activities. So we even teach coding, for example, and we have a lot of screen free activities to teach a subject like coding as well. So ensuring that, and physical well-being also. So we have on-screen time, which is wisely followed up with engaging themselves in chores and tasks at home, with a lot of art and craft, enhancing their creativity skills and kinesthetic skills as well during intervals. So it most of most of it is some things that we've seen in usage in centers in Canada, US, Europe, and we've been able to implement those because they already are doing this. So for example, we have technology usage for empathy, and I remember you mentioning that it cannot be that you can build empathy, but we do go ahead and show them stories, and there are activities that they do to ensure that they're learning about empathy. So there are a lot of different strategies that we've seen has worked, and I feel that especially for students who lack resilience or engagement to learn on their own, this has worked by educating the parents as well, like Manjit mentioned, but it is also a new innovative style. So I'm not sure if most of you are aware of the American psychologist studies on benefits of playing video games, and it did mention how performance is enhanced by gamification and by digital on screen time or technology time. So it does have a positive effect, but at the same time you need to maintain that balance. And this is something that I think even Bill Gates resonated by saying reimagining education. So it has to have the balance of on screen, off screen, to be able to reimagine the education, ensuring that there are checks on cyberbullying and age appropriate content is present there to ensure a perfect experience for the students.
No, I completely agree with you, Ms. Kopal. And you spoke about many things, including coding and all that. I must warn you, there are many other coding companies which is taking away all the students. So wish you all the best over there. Mr. Tijay, coming back to you, what has your experience been in terms of, same question, right? Are parents expecting some sort of assessment, or parents are completely okay?
Yes, this was the first question.
Mhm.
This was actually the first question. How do you expect a assessment or a report card, or how do you test my child? For us, it was little surprise. It came as a big surprise actually. That assessment is important during COVID. No learning need to be required. So once during a parent webinar, one of our teachers said, "Has any parent seen Three Idiots?" So everybody said yes. So she said, Amir Khan says the famous dialogue that learning can happen everywhere at and anywhere, and learning is more important rather than going with the test or the physical thing. So the parents answered, "Sir, ma'am, it looks good in movies. That movies make 500 crores. That looks good in movies, but practically it is not possible to just uh, channelize the learning. We need the assessment part. We need the writing part. We need the physical part. We need the social development part, emotional part. Except that, everything is okay." So it was very difficult initially to convince a parent to bring the child to the technology part and to use technology as a trade. Why I'm saying technology as a trade? Because technology always makes tasks very convenient. But what we fear as a school, that we are into the risk of losing some interpersonal connection. If the teacher is not able to make up emotional or the physical connection with the child, there is no use of all these classes. Then we worked out the formula, how to use it. We developed a 4 strategy formula: focus the time with technology, unplug more, minimize distraction, and find balance as a family. These are the 4 methods which we devise for the parents, so that parents can be touch with the technology with the child. Child can use 30 minutes, 40 minutes productively, and moreover, we can see after 3 months, 6 months, results are bound to happen. After 6 months or 3 months of assessment, we can see whatever we are teaching the child after initially first 1.5 or 2 months, they are learning now. They are sitting with 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It is up to a time level that would settle a child in the class. Jitendra, actually, what I felt, we all are running play school. When a child is new and coming to the school for first 15, 20 days, he or she may cry for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. But practically, that is not in front of parents. Now, what is happening? They can see everything on screen. So, why it is not participation is not done? My child is not concentrating. They don't understand, or it was difficult for them to understand. This is bound to happen. A child is 2.5, 3 years old. It's a new method for them. They are not used to technology. In that sense, they're used to YouTube, but not to Zoom. So yes, challenge was there, but now things are better again.
I agree with you. The expectation of a parent when we send a child to a preschool, in a physical preschool, is completely different. They expect the child to cry. They know that the child will take about 2 weeks to settle. In some cases, even children take a month to settle. But when it comes to technology, because everything is so instant, probably the expectations are also like, that instantaneously my child should be completely focused towards this. So lastly, Ms. Sonal, what has your experience been in terms of assessment? Are parents happy with the children's journey, and are you being able to map everything as a physical preschool would?
I won't say that initially it was satisfactory for all the parents. It's kind of a blend of each one of the panelists who spoke. I mean, almost all the points are covered up. So it was more like, yes, they wanted to know where the child is. And on the top of that, they felt that you give classes, say 30 minutes twice a week, and then we have to pay the full month fee. And this is nowhere going in a balance with the kind of money we are paying and the amount of classes which are happening. And the lot of research work, the presentations, the channels, and the teachers who are developing the content was kind of redundant completely. They were not even considering that that's also a part of the amount as a parent you pay towards the education of your child. There is a lot of work. In fact, I believe more work is happening now as compared to the schools when we were there in person, because now we were challenged. And I've always believed when you're challenged is where creativity happens, innovation takes place, and you learn a lot. So as a team of educators and schools, we have learned in this particular period that there is so much happening that we never even thought of doing it in person schools. So we made the parents aware about it, that the kind of a thought process an educator can give. Now, when you're talking about assessment, assessment will be on the basis of what is the question that always comes to my mind. Now, when you talk about assessment, a child cannot be assessed on whether a child is able to recognize numbers or letters, able to read something. So, our school has never worked on assessments this way. We've always believed in creating the portfolios, Whole lot of rubrics were used to be written, taking care of the child's behaviors, the child's reactions to a particular thing, the child's reaction to a kind of a food that was served in the school, and what did the child say about it. So our teachers used to write the journals each day. Now that exposure is not there when it comes to virtual and remote learning. So we had to kind of re-strategize, redesign things, and also train the teachers on those parameters, that how is that they can now go ahead and write the rubrics. So what we did was we planned for the phone calls with the parents. There were a lot of questionnaires that were maintained by the educators with a lot of discussions we used to have together. And those questionnaires were spoken to the parents, where parents were giving, okay, now this child is doing this to a particular activity. This is how this child responded. Because we were against shooting videos of the children more. I've seen that a lot of children at work, and there is a person who's shooting a video to show to the school. Now that kind of takes away the whole charm of learning. So we were particular that we will not get into this kind of structure as well. So we interacted more with the parents during this period, and we got a lovely feedback. Parents were happy, our each and every activity was revolving around, say, planting trees in the locality, probably going and giving food to the local dogs in the community, or making cards for their helpers who are coming throughout the pandemic and serving you. So the whole curriculum was redesigned, and rubrics was never a challenge then for us, because we were getting overwhelming responses from the parents. They were able to explain. No, we could see the parents have turned into educators. Actually, the way our teachers used to tell during the parent teachers meeting, now parents are telling us the child did this, then he did this, then he did that. So that's an amazing and beautiful part of this pandemic period, where parents have started involving. And I always say that there is always the other side of a coin. There'll always be a parent who will be complacent too. So my idea is not to focus much there, and to focus on what good is happening. Like, I agree to my dear friend Manjit. What we have, come on guys, focus on that. So it's like that.
I feel actually parents have become more thankful
Yeah.
to the efforts of our teachers during this time.
Absolutely, Kopal. I'm experiencing the same. They're becoming full of gratitude. They're thanking you and saying that you are a school who educated us and gave us a new meaning of learning for a child.
And plus, they now realize that it's really tough,
Exactly.
being teachers, right?
To become a teacher, absolutely.
It's not an easy job. Uh, and I somewhere I feel that probably this age is the only age, probably in the history, in the modern history, that parents are more educated, well-traveled than the teachers. When we were growing up, our parents were not that, I'm talking about in general, not talking about one or two parents, but in general, parents were always more respectful towards teachers, and they thought the teachers have learned more and they know better. But I think, in some cases we have parents who feel that, they know better than the school. But I think now, I dare to say that thanks to COVID, that at least parents understand the other side of the coin, and they understand that it's really not simple. Okay, last parting question. I think we've already ran out of time, and I think this was the same question that we probably did last time, but I'll start with you, Ms. Sonal, once again. That where do you see this? Do you see this technology or hybrid sort of a learning going forward? Do you feel that come June the schools are going to be full? So I mean, let's try to make it as brief as possible and finish it in the next few minutes.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know whether the schools will be full or not, and I'm not expecting that also. But yes, technology will be there. In my case, why? Because it has saved a lot of time. It has given me and my educators enough time to focus on the areas where we really wanted to for years, and we were not able to. So yes, the compression of time has happened because of technology, without any doubt. So yes, I'm looking forward to a blend kind of a structure where the things which we feel can technology can take care of, why do we want the human resources to get into it? So the teacher's role, especially in the case of preschoolers, the early years, is to shape the attitude, to shape the structure, the brain structure of a child. So I would probably go with the teachers work more on these domains than the domains which technology can actually take over. So a beautiful blend will be a way to go forward for us. Yeah.
Mr. Tijay, what are your views?
Yes, definitely. Technology would, first of all, I feel schools will be full. We are getting a lot of inquiries nowadays, approximately 100, 150, 200 inquiries per day for the admissions. So now parents are feeling that heat because they have understood it's 8, 9 months, and being at home is again difficult for a child, not happening that way. So I feel June would be a good time to start the preschool, especially. And I feel, yes, blended kind of learning is going to be there. and it's a must for every school, because now we have seen this kind of thing. It may come back after a year or 2 year, or who knows. Maybe next September we can see another fifth wave or 10th wave of COVID, and it may
I
come
think
back.
the vaccine is out. We shouldn't be worrying about it, right? And they've already started vaccinating people in the UK, and I think US is starting this month. I think India is going to start by Jan.
Can.
Yeah. So knowing India, the the have-nots will suffer, but people who can afford it will surely get a vaccine, and things will start moving back. But I couldn't agree with you. I think June the numbers will start going up, and schools will be filling up soon. So, Miss Manjit, your views on this?
Yeah, so I also totally agree with Sonal and TJ that I think, 21, maybe mid of 21 should see us coming back to track, the schools opening up, because everybody's had enough. And the COVID has taught us, that you have to ride with the wave. And I also agree that you never know, 22, COVID 22 may crop up. We have to learn to live with it, but we will definitely be better armed and better prepared. So it won't take us by surprise. Second, I also see, our teachers, our entity courses, our B.Eds and everything also upskilling. Probably we're going to be adding online teaching courses for our teachers and our parents and everybody to learn more and benefit more, because fast forward schools are technology enabled schools, definitely. And last is, also my observation, my real wish and desire that, it's going to be a content rich world. All of us have created so much of content that I hope we can combine content with collaboration. That Sonal, TJ, Jitendra, Kopal at least, and Manjit, all of us can make a beginning and share then absolutely gorgeous and lovely content that we've created with each other. To each their own. God bless everyone. May we all do well in our fields, but let's collaborate. Let's step forward and share the best that we have curated. That's my,
Second your
real
thought.
wish.
It's a wonderful idea. I think we should definitely connect offline and discuss this
Definitely, we should.
between us. Lastly, Ms. Kopal, what is your prediction for June 2021?
Well, for sure, I feel that the hybrid methods of teaching would come in, the blend teaching methodology, as we say. But what I consider is that it should not be the main driver, but it should be reimagining better learning in schools. That should be the main driver, where we need a more thoughtful balance in terms of ensuring additional learning opportunities which are universal, not just at home or in school. And that is something we've seen has worked really well for a country like Estonia, which is really small but tops the PISA scores. So I feel that, adapting increased use of technology with some adjustments in parenting and carrying out research and development of technology policies will help us improve in 2021, and of course get more admissions. And I feel that the current situation is actually quite unusual, because the children nowadays are the pioneers and experts in this area. Like, they are the first ones to try out new apps and programs and even create them. So to be able to effectively adjust to this situation and build constructive dialogues around, healthy and harmful use of digital technology, there needs to be more reliability on the children's voices and experiences, and that we need to keep in mind even when we progress to a proper school environment where schools are opening up, even then, like in 2021. So it always has to be like keeping the children voices and their experiences in mind, that we would be going forward for this new age education methodology, or rather, like I would say, reimagining education policies.
Surely. And yeah, I think we've sort of covered up whatever we had to in whatever limited time we had. Thank you very much, panelists, Ms. Kopal, Ms. Manjeet, Mr. TJ, and Ms. Sonal. It was great chatting with you, at least the two of you once again, and, nice meeting Ms. Kopal and Mr. TJ. Thank you very much. I think we should definitely be in touch offline, and, let's discuss this and take it forward. And thank you to Chandan. I hope he's there. Yeah, Chandan is here. Thank you, Chandan, for giving us this opportunity to come and as a group and discuss, all the things going on with preschool and the problems that we are facing and probably some solutions going forward. Thank you very much.
Right.
And thank you, Jitendra, for shepherding the whole lot of us this evening. So it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kopal.
you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Jitendra. It was a wonderful moderation, in fact, and a right justice to the topic which we have selected thoughtfully is over an end. And I think people who will be witnessing and who have experienced this discussion so far, who have been attached with us, they would definitely echo with the kind of efforts which the leaders like you have taken, in making the difficulties into opportunities. And the most difficult phase which I feel is in the life of the early childhood, where you have to counsel not only a student but a parent and the people who are attached to that particular the family. In fact, you have to make them a surety virtually कि आपका बच्चा यहाँ पर safe है, सुरक्षित है. And the I'm very much echoing with the kind of efforts which you are told that कि एक बच्चे को बैठा के एक interaction करवाना is how difficult it is. So this is how the flow of the event of today's which we have taken to let us start the session from preschools. हम इनका पहले mindset सुनते हैं, then move towards the school education, K-12, which I guess the eminent speakers are here to speak on, and I'm glad that they were here to at least listen the final talks of this discussion, so that would elevate them to a next level of discussion कि यहाँ से कहाँ लेके चलते हैं, and where they will live, the higher education people will be grasping. And so this is how we made this blend going on. So thank you so much. I am very happy to see you again, Ms. Kopal, Manjit ma'am, Jitendra, Tijay sir, and Sonal ma'am over here. We'll keep on organizing some stuff like that. And please promise me, वो आप लोग जो भी करने वाले हैं off the screen, ASMA will be a part of it. We'll be giving our full support and help in whatever way is needed to spread that communication. Even जो भी community या forum आप बनाने चाहते हैं, I am, I'll be glad if you give that opportunity to us as well.